Hi, I've got something you'll be interested in. Those performance upgrades we discussed after the last race. They're on the car and the data looks promising. Take a look at the details.
Yes, hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2017 career mode here today around Canada, I think it is. Just showing you the new parts that I fitted in the last episode, which was a couple of weeks ago. Hope you all had a nice Christmas and a nice New Year. But without further ado, let's get into qualifying for the Canadian Grand Prix.
Good afternoon, and we hope you're ready for an exciting qualifying session as the teams make their final preparations here in Canada. Now then, Anthony Davidson, you're not getting any younger, but you have been involved in your fair share of qualifying sessions in an illustrious 30-year career. How do you deal with the pressure when you have that one chance to deliver a perfect lap?
It's not so much about dealing with the pressure, it's more about how you approach the risk and just how much of it are you willing to take. You're constantly balancing the car on the edge of grip from braking, cornering and traction. And over the course of a lap, it's easy to get that balance wrong. And that's why achieving the perfect lap is almost impossible. As you say, I've been doing this 30 years now, and it never gets any easier.
So here we go then into qualifying for the Canadian Grand Prix. I have to admit, when I did this, it was a couple of weeks ago, so I can't remember what happened. But obviously I had the pace, finishing in Q1 in 3rd place, which surprised me actually. I really wasn't expecting to have that much pace. I was 5/10 behind Lewis Hamilton, who's in pole, well, provisional pole, because it's Q1. But hope you all had a nice Christmas and a nice New Year. Hope you all got what you wanted. Obviously, if you don't celebrate those, then happy holidays. Hope you had a nice holiday season. Obviously, they're the usual people going out in Q1, are Jolyon Palmer, being very consistent there. I mean, he's consistent, but consistently bad, which is just hilarious because, you know, it's Jolyon Palmer. But here we are then, moving on to Q2, and I realised that I used the wrong, the wrong components for qualifying, and obviously I knew that I had the pace, so I decided to take all the new components, power unit number 3. Unfortunately that happened and we didn't set a time in Q2, so we're starting from 15th place in the Canadian Grand Prix, which is really unfortunate, but that's just my mistake really. So hopefully we can get some points. Obviously we have the pace from Q1, so we should have the pace to get into the points at least, if we get a good start without making any contact with anyone. But without further ado, I will now hand over to Anthony Davidson and Crofty to introduce you to the Canadian Grand Prix.
Canada has a true love affair with Formula One. The grandstands here are always packed to capacity. It's a favourite for fans and drivers alike then here in Canada. We're used to seeing the unexpected happen here, and with me today to enjoy it all is Anthony Davidson, a man who knows firsthand the surprises that can pop up in this race.
I do indeed. I had a good chance at some points here in 2007, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be. My old colleague Takuma Sato, though, he managed to finish 6th, so the team took home 3 valuable points, and that was a big boost to everyone at the time. I'm not sure I can think of anywhere else that so consistently provides the kind of late race excitement we get here. Obviously, towards the end of the Grand Prix, the brakes are getting worn, maybe the weather situation has changed, so there's a lot to keep fighting for all the way up to that final corner.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Raikkonen, Sergio Perez and Verstappen, Ricciardo, Grosjean, Sainz and Esteban Ocon, Hülkenberg, Alonso, Felipe Massa and Magnussen, a Williams, Kvyat, Stoffel Van Dorn and Marcus Ericsson, Wehrlein and Jolyon Palmer rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
If we keep up this level of performance, I think you'll be promoted to #1 driver. So let's make sure we get a good result today.
Well, if Jeff thinks that we can be promoted to first team driver after this Grand Prix, then we should hopefully get a good result here today. Just resetting the fuel there, obviously a simple one stop and a 25% race, and obviously with no tyre wear around here, it's pretty much easy to do. But as we go to the 5 red lights now, we've got four lights, it's 5 lights. Flat out where we go here for the Canadian Grand Prix. We've got off to a relatively good start. I think that was my teammate there, yeah. Didn't get off to the great start at all. We've gone down the inside. Massa is still down my inside, so I'm a bit all over the place here. I have to go wide into the second corner, and we've just about managed to get 10th place there in the Grand Prix. And now later on this lap, we now dive it down the inside of a Haas and a Force India. I couldn't quite see who they were, so that's unfortunate. But we're now up into 8th place in the Grand Prix now. And now going side by side with Daniel Ricciardo, this is. And now we're going to go down side by side, obviously with us, with the Mercedes engine, we've got better straight line speed, and we've just got past in there before we actually get into the last chicane, and that is us up into 7th place. And now moving on to lap 2, we go past Sergio Perez now. We're already behind Hamilton, which is just incredible. Perez there gave up a little bit of a fight towards the end, and now we are cutting to the end of lap 2, going to lap 3. We're going to go around the outside of Lewis Hamilton here. He sticks it in there, we go around the outside, we manage to get better entry speed. We park it on the apex, and that is us up into 5th place now already on the 4th lap. But now we go down the inside of a Red Bull and a Ferrari. I mean, we're already on the podium. I mean, this is incredible. On lap 5, unfortunately, I think it was Romain Grosjean, unfortunately, had an engine failure there, which was really unfortunate for Romain Grosjean, I will admit. Cutting on to lap 8 now, the Grand Prix, where not a lot has really happened now. All the action has kind of happened now, unfortunately. Going to try and keep up with the front runners. Obviously, we're in front of the minute, but that's because they pit before me. So, I mean, I think it's Bottas and Vettel who are ahead of me. So, I mean, I'll try and keep up with them. I don't know if I can. But, you know, I'll see what I can do. Hopefully we can, you know, keep up with them. I mean, there's Jolyon Palmer there, who's not going to last very long in the top 4, I'll tell you that. Hamilton actually jumped us, surprisingly, but he made another pit stop before in the Grand Prix. But obviously he came in for another pit stop. And now, as we come around the final corner now, to take home the 3rd spot on the podium, and what a race that was.
Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
And Mercedes have pulled off a great victory here today. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
So as I say that, we can see the drivers coming out now to collect their trophies. It's yet more silverware to take back to their base in Brackley after another excellent Grand Prix.
So taking a look at the final classification, then we've got Bottas winning the race, Vettel finishing in 2nd, and me finishing in 3rd. As you can see there, I did close the gap a little bit on Vettel, but unfortunately he just had so much pace, I just couldn't keep up with him. Max Verstappen finishing in 4th, Perez in 5th, Ricciardo, Ocon, Raikkonen and Hamilton really far down the grid. I don't know why. I mean, Hamilton made 2 stops for some reason. I don't know why he made 2 stops, but Raikkonen down there on the same amount of stops as everyone else, which is strange. And Carlos Sainz rounding out the top 10 with Felipe Massa. Unfortunately, still not getting a point. I don't think has he got a point at this point? I can't remember. But Jolyon Palmer there finishing last because Romain Grosjean retired. Classic Palmer there finishing last. I mean, he's just living up to his name there, really, isn't he? So an amazing Grand Prix. I know obviously you didn't see much of it, and I'm sorry about that, but that's just the way some races goes, unfortunately. So have a look at the driver standings then. we move up into 6th place in between the 2 Red Bulls, and there's actually 2 points between me and the 2 Red Bulls, which is amazing. And Vettel now has got a gap at the top of the leaderboard, so and his teammate now has actually moved up into 2nd place, which is Ferrari 1-2 in the driver standings, which is amazing. And any of the movements? No, Bottas just going above. Bottas is making his way back up. And in the constructors, then Williams haven't really moved, just same as everyone else. But if you did enjoy this episode, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe for more. And I will see you all next time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Goodbye.